Stupid thing. Hi guys. I already made this video. And the video I made was brilliant and insightful and hilarious, if I do say so myself. And when I went to transfer it to my computer, for some reason, my camera had only recorded the first 35 seconds and the last 4 seconds of about a 15-minute video. So the resulting video was not brilliant or insightful or hilarious. It was kind of irritating. I'm going to try to redo it. This may just be mere shadow of its former self, but I guess we'll find out. A few years ago, I'm at my local pool hall, and an older gentleman comes in with a cue case. I didn't recognize him. My friend says, "Hey, look, it's Joe Blow." And I recognized the name, not the person, and the name that I recognized was, it was kind of like said with respect, a good local player, in other words. Because I was the best player in the pool hall there. We ended up playing each other, and of course I'm watching him while we're playing and all that. I always like to try to watch like the old timers play, because there can be knowledge that they have that isn't in books and videos and things like that. So pool is interesting to me, in other words. What I noticed about this guy, I didn't notice if he had a pre-shot routine or how his stance was or really anything, except the one thing I couldn't help but notice, when he would get lined up on a shot, he would pause somewhere between 10 seconds and 10 years at the cue ball before he pulled the trigger on the shot. And he did this on every shot. It was really, really long pause. And so I was curious. I didn't know him to ask him, "Hey, why are you so weird? Why do you have that really, really long pause?" But I just got thinking about it. When I got home later on that night, I started messing with it. I had messed before with a pause at the end of my final backswing. Kind of like Chris Melling, most beautiful stroke in pool as far as I'm concerned. But he'll pull back, pause for, I don't know, between 5 seconds and 5 years, and then stroke the ball. So I played with that, but I never really played with a pause at the cue ball. And I don't think I was ever really doing it over the years. I never paid any attention to it. So if I did have a pause, it wasn't a long pause, because I would have noticed a long pause. But when I got home that night, I started messing with, a longer than normal, I guess, pause at the cue ball before my final stroke. For me, the cue ball, and then this whole thing is my stroke, including this final backswing. For some people, it's not. I guess probably like Chris Mellon, he can come back, and then his pause is that motion. For me, that is my stroke. And so introducing any change to that, like a longer pause back here, I had to work at it and think about it. And I don't really do it that much anymore, except some stuff. Anyway, I am yammering. I apologize. I am irritated that I lost all that footage, because it was Pulitzer Prize material, I'm sure. Anyway, so messing with having a pause that's longer than normal, and thinking, okay, I've got an extra 5 seconds or 10 seconds or whatever. What can I do with that? There's lots of things that I can do with that pause. One, make sure my mind is clear. Make sure I'm not thinking about something. Not distracted by a pretty girl giving me the come hither look. Anything like that. To contradict myself just a little bit, do have to think about something long enough to make sure nothing weird is going on. Use that extra time to make sure I'm as ready as possible to make the shot. Make sure nothing weird is happening. And something weird can be any number of things. Some new distraction. Loud noise that's distracting me. This cat distracting me. There one time my left foot was twisted a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit unusually for me. And one time my bridge was a little bit longer than normal. I could feel it in the taper. Noticing things like that. That's what I can use this extra time for. Make sure nothing is weird. When I make sure nothing is weird, then I can pull the trigger. If I see something or detect something is weird, and it kind of depends on what it is. If I'm in a bar and there's a lot of music, there's not a whole lot I can do about that. Certainly not, in the moment of the shot. If it's some type of a mental distraction happening with me, maybe I can just, acknowledge it and it can go away. If it's my foot's twisted too much, I think on that particular time, I just twisted my foot back. Even though I was already bent over, I just twisted it back. It's not what I should have done. What I should have done was stood up and reset everything all to begin with. The time that my bridge was too long, that's exactly what I did. I'm down here and I'm doing this pause. I'm like, wow, my bridge is going long. And it was about half, I have a long bridge, which could mess me up. But the other half was just, there's a part of my brain thinking about that. Thinking about this long bridge. And that part of my brain, I would like to be focused on putting the object ball in the pocket. So whether or not it was actually going to be a real physical problem, it was a mental problem because I was thinking about it. If that made any sense, I think it probably did. Now right there, so I don't know if anybody saw it on camera. When I went down the pause at the cue ball, my tip jiggled. It didn't just go straight and stop. It went up and it jiggled just a little bit, but I noticed it. And because I noticed it, stand up, go again. I don't want to be one of those guys that's doing this for an hour and a half before every shot. But I also don't want to be one of those guys that misses all the damn time. When I was doing this as one of my daily chores, had to make 10 in a row at that time, it would get pretty irritating to get to ball 8 or 9 or even 10 sometimes and miss and then go, oh man, my foot was twisted and I was thinking about that. It would get pretty irritating. So trying to use this pause to make sure that there's nothing weird at all happening. I remember one time, a couple of days ago, there was a cat hair on the cue ball. And of course it registered a little bit in my subconscious when I'm down here. But I pulled the trigger and that's when oh crap, there's a freaking cat hair. And I missed a shot, but I don't think it was because of the cat hair. I think it was because the part of my brain that should have been trying to make the ball was thinking about the cat hair. Now I have cats, so I have cat hair. I just do. If you have whatever, pubic hair or whatever instead, I'm not judging. Anything like that can be like a little distraction, do something about it. That's probably why like Johnny Archer is doing this all the time before every shot. Because it can just distract a part of his brain that he wants to be able to focus on the shot. I have a thing going on right now. There's not a lot I can do about it because I am making a video for you guys. I have a light over there in the corner that's kind of like, it's a floor lamp, but it's kind of shining on me. And it's casting a shadow on the object ball that I'm noticing. There's some nights I don't notice that shadow at all, but I'm noticing it right now. I also have a thing with this cat that likes to rub all over my feet sometimes. And my brain notices that. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. It's what I'm doing with this. I'm just trying to make sure there's nothing weird, make sure that I'm giving myself the best opportunity to make the shot without anything distracting me to the last second or some physical thing that's weird. I remember when I was doing my daily chores, a lot of times I would go, well, that's weird, and then I would shoot anyway. I guess thinking, well, that's weird, but it's probably not weird enough to make me miss. Tell you what, often enough, it was weird enough to make me miss. And it was definitely weird enough to make me where I should have stood up and reset. Should do that. Should have the discipline to stand up and reset when I notice something weird like that. But discipline has never really been one of my super strong suits, especially not when I'm in the middle of a shot. I'm already bent over. Now I got to bend all the way back up, and sometimes it sounds like more effort than it's worth, but it's really not more effort than it's worth. Because as soon as you miss, then you got to go sit down, and that sucks. What was I going to say? Oh, when I was doing this as a chore, another thing that would happen to me a lot would be on my final forward stroke. Then all of a sudden I would notice my cues going offline, or I've got English on the cue ball or something that I didn't want, and I'm like, man, I'm going to miss, or I might miss. It's going to be an iffy shot. By then, for me, it was too late. It's too late. I'm not gonna balk by going to stroke and stop it all of a sudden. I just have to let the tip hit the cue ball and see what happens. All those little things that would cause my stick to veer off, or having inadvertent English, stuff like that, those are things I can notice during that 5-second pause. During my practice strokes and my feathering and my little pause, I make sure everything's good. I can, in theory, at least drastically reduce any errors that I might get when I actually go to shoot it. Probably can never eliminate them all. If I could, wouldn't be down here in my basement making videos for YouTube. But I can drastically reduce those kind of errors because they are correctable. Most of them I can see as long as I take a little bit of time, 5 seconds or whatever. I'm not pausing for 5 seconds. I just keep saying 5 seconds. As long as I pause and use that time to just make sure, does this feel right? I can tell you right now, if I bend over right now, my left foot is twisted too far clockwise. And that would make me stand up. So I'm just going to do my little dance again. I've talked about that. That was a shot right there. I cheated the pocket on that 6, not on purpose. As I was going, I noticed I was cutting that ball to my right just a little bit, and I didn't want to, but it was too late to stop. I was just like, well, whatever error caused me to not be in the proper alignment or to not stroke straight, I did not catch it. And that's fine. See, you can't catch every error. I was talking about the back pause as well. One of the things that I found about myself is because this is my stroke, not this is my stroke. The whole thing is my stroke, including that backswing. And if I pause too long back here, I can kind of feel like I'm disconnected from all of it. The pre-shot routine, the practice strokes, the feathering, the pause up here. I can feel like I get disconnected, and all of a sudden, this motion just becomes like a standalone thing with nothing to back it up. So I mostly cannot pause for longer than about half a second at the end of that backswing. There are a few styles where I will do that, but most of the time it's back, forward, back, forward, back, forward. And I'm not counting, one Mississippi or anything like that. It's just what my rhythm is. That was about as long of a pause as you're going to see me on my backswing. I know, at some point somebody will watch me play and they'll see me pause for a whole second and a half and then, Dave, you're a liar. Well, maybe I'm not a liar. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention. Or maybe I just got lazy and I did notice something weird was happening. Maybe I'm pulling back, and I notice when I'm pulling back, I pulled back at an angle. And I'm like, well, that's weird. But I'm too lazy to reset everything. Very easily happened to me, and it has happened to me a lot. There's a miss. Now, what I did on that shot, don't know why, but I put left English on that shot and threw the 8 into the short rail. Why did I put left English on that shot? You know, in that case, I haven't blamed you guys yet. I'm going to blame you guys. Because I am talking to the camera, and that is pretty much by definition something weird. And it's something that I can't really do anything about. It's like loud music in a bar. It's just going to happen. I need to talk to the camera, otherwise you guys are just going to watch some old guy shoot a bunch of diagonal shots. And you might just click the back button or something. Unsubscribe or whatever. Exact same thing again. Exact same shot again. Except that time, I did notice as I was going forward, when it was too late, that I had a longer bridge than normal. Should have been able to catch that earlier, but I did not. I didn't catch it until I'm stroking forward and I'm like, crap, the cue ball is not where I thought it was going to be, or not where my interpol player thought it was going to be. It's up a couple inches or an inch. But as I keep working on this and trying to really pay attention, hopefully I will get better at stuff like that. Can't make the 8. I don't want to miss this 8 for the next hour and a half. Maybe I'm just missing for dramatic effect. That's what I'm doing. Yeah. Just missing for demonstration purposes only. I think I did the exact same thing on that shot. And now I'm to the point where it's a mental problem. I'm thinking, oh crap, I've missed a shot now 3 times in a row. I can't be doing that. It's going on YouTube. I can't be sullying the internet with missed pool shots. Hell, most of the YouTube people that have pool videos out there, they'll get into their editing software and they'll edit it and it'll look like they're the greatest player that ever lived. Well, I'll freely admit I'm not the greatest player that ever lived. And I do miss. But I shouldn't miss the exact same shot the exact same way 3 times in a row. You think that I would have learned something by now. And maybe I did, or maybe I just got lucky and finally put the stupid 8 ball in the hole. For anybody that paid any attention, and I don't blame you if you didn't, because they were kind of boring. When I was doing my daily chores, this diagonal shot was one of them. It was my second chore. And I had to make 10 shots in a row. Since I'm now just doing it as an exercise, clearly I could put the ball up and shoot again like I did with the 8. I'm just going all 15, and I'm alternating from side to side. It used to be I just had to shoot 10 from here, or 10 from here. Now I'm just alternating. It's making sure I don't just do some type of extended do-si-do, and always doing the same motions. It's making me walk, a whole 4 feet away, but it's enough to keep me out of any semblance of a rhythm. Use this pause, use it. Make sure there's nothing weird at all. If there is, depending on what it is, acknowledge and then ignore it. Get up and reset. Pick the lint off the table. Blow the cat hair or the pubic hair off the 10 ball, whatever you have to do, if you can. If it's something that you can't control, just acknowledge that you can't control it. Sometimes just by noticing it that's good enough. It's not going to bother you anymore because now you've noticed it. So the part of your brain that's like, but Dave, there's a cat here, there's a cat here, there's a cat here. You're like, yep, there's a cat here. And now your brain can shut up for a second or so while you shoot the shot. Finding myself looking at the object ball, and I have talked about this kind of stuff before. When I'm still up here getting ready, not supposed to look at the object ball except just out of my peripheral vision. I'm supposed to be looking at the cue ball. And then with my peripheral vision, the object ball and the target pocket. I'm supposed to be looking at this cue ball to make sure that my interquarter player knows this distance between my body and the cue ball. And I've said all this a million times, but I'm saying it again now because it is important. It's one of those things that counts as weird if I'm too close to the cue ball or too far away from the cue ball. That's one of those things that counts as weird, and I should, possibly would notice it when I'm doing my pause up at the cue ball. But why wait for a pause and then go, crap, I'm too close? Just try to fix it ahead of time. I can tell you exactly why I missed that one too. I should have reset, but I did not. I noticed on my final practice stroke, as I approached the cue ball, my tip dipped downward. Now I have some styles that have a downward movement on the tip, but what I'm doing these last few days does not. It just goes straight to the cue ball. But that one I dipped downward, and I noticed it. And then I shot the damn ball anyway. Kind of defeats the whole purpose of pausing and noticing weird stuff when you just noticed something weird and didn't do anything about it, Dave. So my own damn fault right there. Thought I missed that shot. I really did. That was one of those where as I'm going forward, I'm thinking, oh man, I'm going to miss or come close to missing. And I did come pretty close to missing that shot. I cut that ball to my left instead of shooting it straight. I guess, well, I just have 3 balls left if I make them all. The other thing I just want to say is I'm trying to play with a minimal amount of tension in my arm and stuff, especially these last few days. If I'm all the way down here, I feel like I can be pretty accurate, but there is tension. There's tension in my legs from being bent over, tension in my back, tension in my arm. I'm trying to be all mechanically precise and all that, and that is tension. And right now, for this style I'm using right now, I don't want any. I think Carlo Beato, he doesn't seem to have any tension at all when he shoots, except his wrist. He isn't one of those wrist guys. I'm not one of those wrist guys. But other than that, he seems very relaxed, very efficient, not tense at all. And I like that approach. So that's what I'm trying to do here now. So if anybody's like, Dave, you're standing up off the cue, you're more than normal or too far or something, I'm doing it on purpose. And it's not like I'm a foot off the cue, just my chin is no longer scraping the cue. I don't know what happened with that ball. I thought it was going to go clean in the heart of the pocket until it rattled and then managed to fall. So I don't know. I really hope my camera's still recording. My tip wobbled. Did you all see that time? My tip wobbled. As I got to the cue ball, then my tip did a little bit of a wobble. Probably would not have affected the shot at all, but it affected my brain. And made me, well, I noticed it, so made me think about it. Probably made me worry about it affecting the shot. Don't do any of that shit. Don't worry about that now, because that's in the past. Just start over. And miss anyway. That, I don't know, that was annoying. I don't know. I missed that shot by quite a bit, and I don't know why. And I didn't catch whatever happened. I didn't catch it. So again, that's in the past. Don't worry about it. I hope it's not another 8. I've done this 1,000 times. I know what happened that time. I happened to catch out of the corner of my eye as I was coming forward on one of my practice strokes that I was arcing downwards as I was coming forward. Not on the final approach to the cue ball, but just on one of my practice strokes. I just happened to notice it and happened to think about it. Okay, so that's in there. I hope this stupid thing were shots that I feel like I should have missed. But usually when I shoot these, I'm not talking to you guys and trying to explain what I'm doing. I hope I did a halfway decent job of trying to explain what I'm trying to do with that pause. It is not just a rhythm thing. There's certainly a rhythm component to it. Because if I speed it up, then that feels weird. Or if I take too long, then that feels weird. There's certainly some type of a rhythm thing going on. But I'm trying to use that time to make sure there's nothing weird that I could stop or reset or something. There's nothing weird that's going to increase my odds of missing the shot. Sometimes I'm successful by using that pause to do that. Sometimes, as you kind of saw, I'm not. But I'm working on it. That's it. Thanks, guys.